Hello and welcome to CLEA'S World. I am Clea, and today I'd like to share with you more of the information I've received from the 25th dimension in my last BQH session, which is basically like a qhht session but done virtually. The hypnotist in this case was Lorraine, who is a good friend of mine, and we had a lot of fun together. Now, before we move forward, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And do give this video a thumbs up because that really helps me. And leave me a comment below to let me know if the stuff resonates with you. I'm always interested in hearing where you guys are at with things. All right, so before I start reading here, I just want to make a little bit of a clarification. So this part of the questions, because I always prepare questions in advance of my sessions, is actually the part that I refer to as personal. So I had some questions in here. Obviously, I've removed the stuff that only relates to me because nobody else will care about the answers. But because of some of the questions that I asked, they did give me information that I do believe has more universal value. And so even though you'll see that these questions are centered around situations that have happened to me, I know these situations can happen, even not specifically in the same exact way, to other people. And so the questions do, I do believe they have a value for more than just me. And so this is why I wanted to read them to you. And then, of course, we always have, since this was the last part of the transcript from the session, we always have universal messages, so messages for the collective. So I'll be reading those as well. So let's jump in. So I had a little bit of a situation here with my YouTube channel that actually surprised me in two ways. So let me read the question and then I'll explain why I was surprised in two different ways. So Lorraine, Clea wants to know how she should deal with trolls and should she expect to have more. So what happened is that for the first time, and I started this channel back in August. So it's been several months now. I started putting out this information in November, but still, I mean, it doesn't really matter what you put out. There are a lot of trolls out there, right? Anybody who's on the internet knows this. And so I had one troll, one solitary troll. It wasn't even that bad, really. I want to say probably a couple of weeks ago, and I had even forgotten about it. And then we had the session. I thought, let me ask about this. What does that mean? And the reason this surprised me was two ways. One is that I would have a troll because I was like, at this point, I'm like, clearly something is being shielded here. There's no way that I don't even have a troll. And two, the fact that I don't have more, this is, I mean, in many ways, I know for you guys, because this is stuff you probably thought about before, it's stuff that resonates, but there are people who have to protect their own vision of reality, which does not allow for them to know that this is a game and all these other things that 25th has shared with us. So I was surprised. I'm like, only one. So, and I apologize for the noise outside. I live in the city, so this happens. So I don't know if you're hearing the motorcycle going by. I'm like, oh, it's so exciting. Some people really want to be heard. Excuse me. All right, so basically I wanted to know how I should deal with trolls and should I expect more of this? So me, and this was me under hypnosis, so the 25th responded, not many. She might have another occurrence, maybe a couple of occurrences, but it's not going to be a big problem for her. And she's dealing with that perfectly, which is not giving, not being in resistance, and not feeling a surge of rejection. Because a surge of rejection would basically establish an energetic connection between her and this type of behavior. And instead, she's just deleting and moving on. And that's exactly the best way to deal with it. So she's doing what she's supposed to be doing. This is not energy that is relevant to her, so will not be in her field. And this is the reason I left this here, because even if you don't have to deal with this kind of behavior online, you're not online, really, you're not putting out any information from yourself where there might be people who want to argue with you. Some people encounter this on Facebook with their own friends, which is the oddest thing. Why would you want to have a fight with somebody that you know? But there are trolls out there and they don't care. They're like the keyboard warriors kind of thing. So the reason I wanted this in here is because I thought, and I will repeat it here, where they said, the important thing is basically not being in resistance and not feeling a surge of rejection for whatever might be happening that you don't like. Because a surge of rejection will basically establish an energetic connection between you and that action, that type of behavior. And so what I did, and it did feel very good, is that I simply read it. In fact, I laughed because it was a really silly comment. And I just deleted it. Like I didn't even think of replying and laughed or anything. It was just not, it would have not been a good use of my time. Delete, moved on. I blocked the person, moved on. And that's important because when we are in resistance, and you've heard this a million times, when you resist persists. When you are in resistance, you are basically putting your focus on a certain situation, even though it might be something that you think, oh, I don't want to deal with that, but you are putting your focus on that. And by putting your focus on that, you're creating the reality. So the idea is, and what happened for me is that, again, I am not interested in this. I'm not putting this out because I want to feel important or because I'm looking for anything specific. I'm just doing a job that I feel like I was sent here to do. And so this is literally a service for me. I certainly am not making any money from this. And it's basically all my spare time that I have when my daughter is at school. So I'm doing it because I believe in it. And I love it because I have found my tribe, you guys watching this, and we can talk about these things. It creates a space for us to be open to certain things and to investigate together what is going on out there, because we can all see something is going on, right? And so for that reason, I'm like, I'm not interested in having these party poopers coming to our space, right? I don't have a problem with any of you telling me, hey, but I don't know about this. What do you think? It's totally fine. That's a conversation, you know, but not trolling. Trolling is never, and it's never, these are never just regular people too, because these people are definitely from a side of the dark being, you know, you're being programmed of, let's put it this way. If I don't like something that I see on YouTube, I don't feel the urge to write a message to a person. So you suck, or whatever the message might be. That's not what the person wrote to me, but I'm saying, you know, as an example, I don't troll. It's not a good use of my time. It's not a good type of energy to spread. That's what I'm saying. These people are not necessarily, you know, people like you and me. But so that's why I don't want to bring my attention, my focus to that. I didn't even really talk about it. I forgot about it after I did it. And then it came to mind when I was preparing questions. So I'm glad I asked, because the answer totally made sense to me and I did want to share with you. All right. So Lorraine, thank you. Claire is having lots of low-grade headaches after her first plant medicine experience. Is this related, and how? Me. Yes, it was. She was integrating the energy, but now that it's integrated, it's going to is gone. So that's okay. It will happen from time to time. She might have some low-grade headache. Normally that happens when she's pulling together from different fields. And I know many of you are dealing with what we used to call, when we used to believe in Ascension. I used to believe in Ascension. That's what I heard everybody say. I'm like, well, it must be real. And it's what is called normally in the parlance, New Age parlance, called Ascension symptoms. Could be anything, could show up any way you want for yourself. You know, it could be toothache, earache, you know, whatever it is, headaches, whatever it is. For me, it was headaches in this case. And so I wanted to share this. Basically, they're saying this happens when you're pulling from different fields. So when you find yourself between different dimensions, maybe you're in 3D, but you really want to be focusing on something else, or maybe you are focusing on something else and you're pulling yourself, or you're in between, this is what's going to happen. Okay. So now Lorraine has asked another question on my behalf. Will they know? And she was referring to the people going to hang out with the aliens. In this case, there is part of my direct family that's going to hang out with the aliens, and they are in Italy. So I'm not gonna see them go. And so she was saying, will they know that Clea is on New Earth from the beginning, or will they worry about her and her daughter? And because there are many of us who live in families, they will be split because we're going different places. I also wanted to share this with you. Me. They will not. They will for just a very, very short time, but she's going to connect with them and let them know. So in other words, when we get to New Earth, we're going to let our loved ones know what happened to us, unless they're in 3D, because we don't want to disturb their pretension that there is nothing outside of 3D. So immediately, as soon as she's able to consciously connect, and she will let them know. They're not going to leave much sooner than Claire, because again, the second group of people going with the aliens, as soon as they're done, within no time really, the people are going to New Earth and then the 12,000 are taking this down. So there's not going to be much of a gap between them leaving and Clea going to New Earth, at which point she'll be able to let them know that she's there. And they will be told that some people have gone to New Earth. Not everybody is in the 3D chambers. And it will be explained to them not to worry about their loved ones because everybody's okay. Everybody has gone somewhere. They might even think that we have gone to another alien ship. We're just not there with them because they are in Italy and we are in the States. So they will not worry. They will not think that they are dead. They will just, of course, have a normal level of worry where they would like to hear and they would like to make sure that everything is okay. That's all. So they will be fine. And it's going to be really good for them that they're together. My mother and my brother, in this case, is who's going to hang out with the aliens. They will be together and they will be fine. So hopefully this brings you guys comfort in case you have a similar situation. Lorraine. Claire would like to know if she should say something to them about any of this when she sees them. And I know, Akari, for example, you had a similar question about your boyfriend, how you wanted to talk to him and he rejected it. So this is what they told me for this case, and it confirms what we discussed previously. No, she doesn't need to. She doesn't need to, and there's no point in alarming them. They will be just fine. They're going to do great. They both know what's going on. They might be surprised from a 3D perspective, but they're going to be just fine. So Akari, again, your boyfriend, whatever happens to him, he'll be fine. We don't need to alarm people. Remember, we're all here pretending that this is real. So we just need to respect the fact that everything that's meant to happen will happen, and all of us are going to be much happier than we are now. And of course, I know it's hard when it's people that you love. I mean, I'm going through the same thing, so I'm not trying to minimize how hard it is for us, especially knowing this information. You want to tell people and say, oh, we'll be okay, or at least, realize that we're going to be separating soon. They don't know, so of course they act. We're not going to have a chance to say goodbye the way we would like to. Lorraine. Will our cats be going with us? Yeah, our cats will be going with us. The question that Claire really wants to know is whether we have to physically go together to go to New Earth, and we don't. Claire could be in Italy with her mother and brother. She could be in Thailand, and she will still meet with her cats on New Earth. So it's just her preference that she wants to be here with them. It's just her preference. But no, you don't have to be. You and Orion, and Orion is Lorraine's cat. You could be out of the house when this happens, and Orion will still meet you on New Earth. And again, I think this is important to know that whenever this happens, doesn't matter where you are, you and the people you're supposed to meet with on New Earth, it could be your children, it could be your pets, could be anyone else in your family. Even if you're physically away from them in 3D, you're still going to meet them there. Nothing is going to change. Lorraine, will my dad freak out when my mother and brother are taken, or will his essence be already gone? So my dad is not going to hang out with the aliens. I was told he's going back to the 25th dimension. He's had a really tough life, and I could totally, when they told me, I was not surprised. So, but I don't want him to suffer. I don't want him to think that, oh my goodness, what's happened? My mother, my wife and son have disappeared, have been kidnapped or something. So I wanted to ask. His essence will be gone, but he will not freak out. He will just think that they're somewhere together, like on vacation or something. He will not freak out. He will be okay. He'll be managed. All these people will be managed. The NPCs will be managed. They won't be scared. So this was comforting to me. So I hope it is of comfort to you as well, in case you have somebody in your family that's staying behind or that's not going to the same place as you simply. Lorraine. Great. Is she here in the US? If she's here in the US, and she's referring to me, but out of the house and away from the cats and maybe even her daughter, when we take this down, will this matter? Or will they all go to New Earth together anyway? Yes, so it doesn't matter because they will still go. We all go together, but we will there's a question coming up about this. We'll get notice. We will know. We will sense when it's time. And because of that, many of us will just naturally want to be home with the people that we're traveling with together. So we will be home with our cats and our children, whoever it is, because we will know. So I definitely wanted to share that bit. So most likely, so all of us will know, we'll get a feeling, and then we'll just naturally want to hang out at home or, you know, with the people that we're traveling with. But again, even if that's not the case, you're not home because you had to run out to get, you know, coffee for yourself or whatever it is, no big deal. It doesn't matter. I mean, again, this is a hologram, so we're all going in the same direction. It's not, we cannot make mistakes. Okay. Everything has been planned out. So my reason for sharing this is that I just want to tell you, there is no reason for stress. You know, we'll have much bigger things to think about than how we're living here, because we're going to have to deal with the aftermath. Because even though we know what's happening, we're going to be sad, right, when this actually happens. So Lorraine, thank you. How will the takedown and us leaving without our bodies happen? Will we go during the night like the people going to 3D chambers? Me. No, we're just going to go. No, we're just going to go, and it's not going to happen at night. As soon as the aliens are done, we're just going. And so most likely it's going to be during the day, and that's okay. We don't need notice. We'll know. It just happens. Lorraine, is there a difference between how the people going to New Earth and the 12,000 leave? Me. There is not, in the sense that people going to New Earth, they're shedding their bodies, just like the 12,000 will be shedding their bodies. But the people going to New Earth, they're going through the tunnel, whereas the 12,000 will just project directly. They don't need to believe in a tunnel to bring them to New Earth. So the tunnel won't be there anymore after the people to New Earth have moved. But this will be very, very quick. It will be basically one thing after the other. So it's going to be seamless, really. So yeah, no, in that sense, it is different. So slightly different, but it's the same concept, basically. And that's why it's going to happen so quickly. Because if we shed our bodies, when we shed our bodies, we can move on very quickly. And I know some of you had asked me how the last bit would work. So hopefully this answers your questions. Lorraine, will these people know that I went to New Earth, or will they think I'm dead? Me. The people that are going to hang out with the aliens will be told that a lot of people, that basically people didn't die. They'll be told that some are going to be on other alien planets or in other ships. And they're also going to tell them, say, that there's also a new planet where a lot of your, you know, human friends are going. So basically, people will think that if the people who are not there with them, like me, are either on New Earth or in a different alien ship. So they will not know exactly where, but once I show up, I can tell them basically. And so, yeah, no, they won't be scared. They'll know that nobody has really died. So they're not going to think. They're basically going to be, that's what we refer to when we said they're going to be managed. In that sense, they're going to be handled. And this is the truth. We're not dying, are we? We're just moving on. So they'll be told people are moving on. Everybody's going to be safe. All right, so we're going to do the final messages here. So again, I always ask for a message for myself and the hypnotist. And in this case, I want to share them with you because normally when they answer these messages are never meant for just one person. So this response has a universal value. So here we go. Lorraine, do you have any final messages for Claire at this time? Me. Yes, at this point, because you do keep doubting, because you don't want to know at a 3D level. At this point, we would suggest that you just let it go. The work is done. We are now just wrapping up, and don't worry about it. Don't worry whether is this going to happen? Is this not going to happen? Oh my goodness, I don't like timelines. We would recommend you go to Italy. You enjoy your family. Maybe you even forget about this for a little while. And then when you return, it will be basically no time after you return. So this is what we mean when we say enjoy, be in the 3D while you are in the 3D. We do appreciate the focus, but this has started causing some distress. And therefore we will recommend that, yeah, sure, pass these messages on, but don't attach too much meaning to them. Do listen to them. They're also meant for you, but you're already aware of what's happening. So let's just let it go. Take a little breather, take a little break if you need to. So this was when I did this was the case. I was still doubting, and I've told you guys before, you know, I am a doubter. I doubt everything. I ask questions about everything. This is why this has worked for me. But I have to tell you, as of last Sunday, so what is today? Today's Friday, so 5 days ago, I don't doubt anymore. Something has come over me where I'm like, of course this is real. And so I'm in a much better place. you know, so as far as I know, this is going to happen as planned. But basically the point here is that, you know, doesn't matter if you want to doubt and be in a 3D. They just want us, we just want ourselves to be happy. So do whatever you have to do to be happy and to enjoy. I know many of us are just here waiting. It feels like, oh, when is it going to happen? But instead it would be, you know, it would behoove us to actually enjoy the last bits of this as much as we can. So that's the whole purpose of this response and why I want to share with you. I hope it helps. Lorraine, any final messages for Lorraine? Me. So Lorraine, you're doing a great job. We really like to see that you've relaxed, and we are saying that tongue in cheek. You have lightened up in many ways in terms of your YouTube channel. She has a YouTube channel she was working on. And how you're putting up videos now when you are in the flow, and how you're doing other things. For example, you've discovered a new pleasure in doing these sessions for people. We are quite happy for you, quite excited for you, because you have forgotten for a long time how it feels, how it felt to just go with the flow and not have expectations. This is very hard for 3D people to do in general. It's very hard for you because you are such a hard worker and you are so disciplined. But it is important to enjoy. And so we are very pleased to see that you are enjoying more. We can feel it. And again, I know there are many of you who are exactly in the same situation. So I hope this message also resonates. Lorraine, thank you. And yes, I am. All right. Final messages for the 12,000. Me. Message for the 12,000. Really, you're going to be on vacation soon. It's pretty much done now. It's almost like automated. It's almost like autopilot for you. So we would say you can quote unquote switch your focus to 3D. Basically enjoy the last bits of it. Hang out more with your friends. Maybe go out more in nature. Hang out with your pets, your loved ones, because the work is done now at this point. We don't have to be as focused as we were before. It's all coming down. It's already finished. So now the thing is in motion by its own volition, by its own. And so you, in a way, you could already be, not technically, but you could already be on vacation in that sense. So enjoy it here, because really you don't need to switch gears anymore. Now you're just focusing on one thing and it's happening as planned. Lorraine, wonderful. Any messages for humanity at large? Me. Trust that everything is going to be okay. Everything is being set up for you to be able to handle this, even from a 3D perspective, in an acceptable way. So while there might be some confusion, while there might be some regrets, there might be some work that needs to be done, it's not going to be dire work. The news will be that this is a happy ending. This is a good thing that's happening. And so when you doubt and when you fear, remember that there is nothing to fear. There is nothing to be worried about. We want this. And while we regret having to take it down, it's turned into a great and exciting adventure for all of us. So when you feel down, do remember that it was a happy ending despite everything. We had a great time and we will do it better in the future. All right, so now guys, you might think this is funny, but if you remember in a previous video I made, I said, or I was told by the 25th that I'm being watched, or these messages spreading on that I'm being watched because, you know, it's important to watch me. But these messages that I am sharing are also being heard by aliens, okay? Which makes sense because they are watching us, right, at all times. And so I thought of asking for final messages for the aliens, at least, you know, to play with them, to be like, we're aware that you're watching, you know, I know that you know that I know that you know, that kind of thing. All right, so Lorraine, great. Any final message for the aliens who are listening and for the multiverse at large? Me, laughing. Well, since we told Claire that the aliens are listening, she wanted to send them a message as well, even though they are listening. They don't really need messages, and they were laughing again. But again, I was having fun with this, so it's all good. But we do want to take this opportunity to say this. We are very grateful for the help that some of you have provided, for the benefit, for the benefit of the doubt that some of you have allowed, so that we would have the room to do this, the space to do this. And for those who are listening, who have negative expectations of this, please remember This is a game, whether you want to believe it or you want to know it or not. This is a game. We can switch, we can pivot in a second. And you having this negative expectation can only seed something that's negative polarity. We would remind you to stick to your high vibration. You know this, even though you don't want to be aware that this is a game. You know how this is played. Our expectation is everything. Our intention is everything. This will be a much talked about event, and it will be a successful event. It already is. And therefore, let's focus on what we wish to see for the multiverse. This is the beginning of a new era. There will be much lighter for all of us. And we appreciate your help, and we appreciate your concern as well. But we've got this. It's always us. We've decided all this together. This is not being done without you knowing about it. So we do appreciate your patience, and we are going to wrap this up very quickly. And we hope that you will be excited to come and say hi to us. We look forward to doing that with you. I thought this was an absolutely lovely message, and I'm so glad I asked the question. And I did highlight this part of the response, so much important stuff in this response, but I did highlight this particular part where it says, you having this negative expectation can only seed something that's negative polarity. This really has been the lesson all along, that our thought, whether we like to believe this is a game or not, our thought does create reality. And therefore, just us expecting something negative to happen will allow it to happen. It will see that. It will see this so that it can happen. So I wish somebody had told us this a long time ago, but of course, this was not part of our plan. We didn't want to know. Lorraine, thank you. And last question. Any last words of wisdom that you want to share with us? And this is just a general question, because again, 25th may have something to say that we haven't asked about. Me. Our last words are that we have enjoyed. We are enjoying passing on these messages in this manner. However, the truth is we won't need to anymore. We will continue to do it if Clea wants to continue to do it, but we won't need to anymore. This is finished. The seeds have been planted. Everybody who has wanted to be aware of these now has been. So we can continue this for the next foreseeable future, but the purpose has been achieved. So these are the final words that at this point, everything that needed to be shared has been shared. We are happy to continue connecting. We are happy to continue informing and answering questions. But the purpose of this entire exercise has been achieved. So this has been a success. So this was a little bit sad when I got this message, but I realized they're not trying to be sad. They're trying to just say, because they said, if I want to continue asking questions, they will answer. And again, it's my higher self, it's our higher selves, right? But at the same time, what they want to pass on to us is that we had a purpose for doing this, all of us being in the space. That's why I always talk about the fact, not just me here talking. It's you guys were creating this reality together, and we are expanding it by our focus, and it has reached the entire multiverse. And so the idea is that this was meant to plant the seeds for the people, the essences who in the future, if they're not ready to accept now the idea that this is game, in the future will be becoming aware of the fact that this is a game. They might join us on New Earth, or they might spread this information in their own civilizations, because the plan of the 25th is to expand the awareness of the fact that this is a game, and for more people to be aware that this is a game, which is a new way we are going to play the game from within the matrix. So hooray for us. I mean, we made this happen. We made this happen together, and I mean it. So I am very excited. I want to share this with you. I hope you like this video. So please do remember to give it a thumbs up. It really does help me. And I will continue to ask questions, because you know me, until we're here, I'm probably going to continue asking questions. I already have done another session that I'll be releasing soon. And so we'll just keep going until this all comes down, and then we'll hang out on New Earth where there is no veil. So we'll know everybody's thoughts. We won't even have to do, won't have to do YouTube videos for sure anymore. All right, take care of yourselves and take care. Bye-bye.